All right, we are back in your faces like we never left. Welcome on board to another edition of Spring Trends right here on Western Spring Television, reaching you live from the beautiful city of Oshogo in Osun State. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei. What we do on the show is speak to issues that are trending on social media. What is trending, who is trending, where it is trending, and we get to take reactions. Remember, like I always tell you, that keep tweeting, keep commenting. We can, get to read your own comments, your own thoughts from right here. Femi Ojo is right by my side. Welcome on board and thank you for doing this with me every day.
My pleasure. It's good, gisting it out because Nigeria matter, take it too seriously.
Really?
You work yourself. How old am I?
All right, let's just get right into it because we have limited time today.
Yeah.
The very first story is from the numero uno of the country, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying judges' intimidation is frustrating corruption cases. Wow. Let me read this, in my president's tone. You see, judges' intimidation is frustrating corruption cases. I hope I sounded like him. I don't think so. Amon Noah Oseme says the Oga Kwata of them all don't talk. Where don't, sir? And Dash 007 says, in the country you presiding, sir, if you cannot do the work, can you give someone else to do it? Like they say, you cannot take the heat, please walk out of the kitchen. And Gbani Ibrahim says, that is why Buhari arrested all of them sometimes ago. Useless judges. I mean, that's what Bani is saying, but of course, you cannot speak to me lots like that, Bani. Ugo Henry says, every politician wants to have the judiciary in their pocket. How the mighty judiciary has fallen. Poverty is really a weapon. And I really want to toe in the line of Ugo Henry saying that the judges really should watch it because it seems like the politicians kinda have them in their pocket, and that's when we see conflicting judgments that even when you look at it, when you look at the substance of the case, an ordinary person can decide on that case, and you see the judgment go in another route, and you're like, what is happening? But of course, the statement by Mr. President saying that the intimidation of judges is not helping corruption cases. Femi, what are your thoughts?
My question is, who are the ones in his words intimidating those judges? Is it you and is it Femi and Evelyn that is intimidating? What does he mean by intimidating, by the way? In what way? Financial intimidation or kidnapping of their relatives or, suspending what they are supposed to have or what does it mean by intimidation? The money bags, if actually anybody is intimidating anybody, the money bags are the ones doing that.
Yeah.
They are the ones. We've seen situations in which these same guys in government, many of them, who were not entered, who didn't even enter into the contest of a particular senatorial seat, were returned as being the ones having the ticket. At least we have high-profile cases of like 2 or 3 of them who are now seated at the highest table in the land. So what are we talking about? Now, they follow talk. No, be mean. Now, them. If the president knows some of his ilks, and I'm not even saying only APC people, the politicians are the ones doing that. And the judiciary have a self-watch thing to do.
Yeah.
Many of them will come whenever they come. Justice Tank will talk about, corruption will not be taken. He left. And the same thing with water on our head before that time. My Lord, Justice Kari or Wala retired. Now my Lord Kekere is there and he said, never in my time. Corruption.
So you think those statements are just for the optics?
Nigerians now go decide. People they see. They be federal court go bring one thing. A state high court go bring another thing. Something will be happening in Oshogbo. Somebody will go to Jalingo to go and bring one court order and say, oh, stop work, ex parte order. You people should maintain status quo. And Baba, you they follow talk. No be people like us like this. How you want to intimidate judges? The way you tell them. But it is the establishment.
Yeah.
That is intimidating the same people. They should talk to themselves. Because this is looking like one of those speeches that, speech writers write, to just appeal or to say that the president is saying something. If they want to do the work, they know themselves. Person when say, they go Senate, all of a sudden, because he failed for the presidential ambition, he come back. Person that has been announced as the winner, they twist their hands, come out the ticket, the guy they Senate now. Say, me do that one.
Or
Next story,
number
I
four
mean.
becoming number one. I
In,
mean,
you
that
see,
particular situation will forever be what they say in the sports world. Goated
yeah,
will
yeah.
forever be
You see
goated.
why I have my SAN in view because of this matter. Too.
All
I
right,
just
sir. We look forward to your SAN in view. All right, let's move on to the next story this morning. And this particular one is actually very alarming, what I call very alarming. Principals, parents denounce GSS book on abortion, says content not part of curriculum. And the content in that book talks about abortion and all whatnot, the types of abortion, how to go about it. I mean, and people are saying for GSS classes, what do they need abortion for? What do they want? What will this knowledge? I mean, if you're
do
talking
to
to
them.
the
Yeah.
SS, maybe SS3, we can say okay, but what will a GSS person use this particular knowledge for? Why exposing them
Yeah.
to something, as sexual as this at a very young age? Let's take reaction. Kemp Sugar says, I don't care how you justify this. It is a JSS3 textbook. It has no business being there. Even medical sciences probably won't study this until at least second year. So what is going on? Whether for education or practices, it is so wrong. It can't possibly be right. How is this even possible? And you can see the angry emojis, about 4 of them put at the end of that particular comment. And Maha_Dean_1 on IG says, I think that being in the textbook was not aimed at teaching them or encouraging to practice it,
So
but to educate them about it. I can remember when we cannot discuss sex matters in schools because we think it contradicts our culture. But going forward, we've come to understand that it has to be discussed for people to have the knowledge about it. So for me, I do not see anything wrong about educating students about it, as long as they will still be taught about the repercussions. Okay, that's Mahadim one, saying our own, giving our own takes about the particular situation. Official Tunaski says, I see nothing wrong in this. It's simple sex education. And Pay 01011 says, the content in that passage is as good for medical consumptions only. Let red be red and turn red to white. Okay, I'm trying to know what that last.
So whatever that
What's
means.
red? Let red be red and not turn red to white. Like this. Let red be red. Okay, whatever it is, it is. It is. Femi, what do you think? Do you think that should not be in a JSS3 textbook, or you think it's sex education? If you're teaching a student about menstruation, if you're teaching them about normal biology and what have you, then it's important that we also teach them what abortion is all about. By the way, biology starts in SS classes, right? So how come?
What they are supposed to be doing in GSS should be what we did, integrated science, and
Yeah.
we have basic science right now.
Yeah.
And many of those things as well. And we had family living at that time too. But then I think I'm all for sex education, actually. But these things are done in levels, actually. Now, you're talking about a GSS 1 to GSS 3 students should be within the age range of 10 and 12. With the current
13.
education that we have right now, 13. And I'm not sure that topic should be up for discussion, actually. Do sex education, let them identify, know the power that they have, know how sensitive their body can be, and know what actually their body physiology carries. And, a good self-identity is fine. But I think the abortion thing, for what purpose? For what was education is for knowledge, actually. So what's the knowledge for? But I think for me, it's a no, actually. When you get to your SS class, maybe some of those things can be introduced. And, education is not just about shoving text into people's faces for them to remember and write exam. No, it's a knowledge impacting process.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure they need that at that particular age range. But then, another thing is this, we must be very intentional about some of these things. Even in the Western world, there are things that are there that maybe some parents, that maybe some other CS conservatives are having issues with. Some things that have found their way into the curriculum. Let's take America, for example. That's one abnormal society. I must say this because they don't have one fit-all kind of curriculum in the whole of the US. States develop what best suits for them. So these are the issues. I'm not sure. I don't want to think this is a westernization of our educational curriculum, but sex education is fine, and is what you are going. The sex education for a pre-teenager, the early teenagers, 13, 14, is not the same sex education for 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
Even in some places, there are teenagers that are super things as well. There are things that are in 100 level, 200 levels already. And there are things that are 13 still struggling with GSS3 and SS1. So you can't lump all of them together and say they are teenagers and you teach them the same thing. I think wisdom should play a role here. So I'm not for it at that age.
All right, let's move to our next story this morning. What do we have? Good news, I should say. The University of Ibadan class of 1989 have donated hospital equipment worth $1 million to UCH Ibadan. And that's running into billions if we are to convert it into Naira, right? So $1 million worth of hospital equipment have been donated to the University College Hospital in Ibadan. We bring up all the sad news and bad news here, and I thought, why not just have some good news? And of course, the UCH has been an institution that have been there for years. There was a time that even premiers from other countries come to UCH for medical,
Saudi royal family.
Exactly. They come here for medical tourism. This same UCH. But now we have politicians, even our own president, going to another land for medical tourism.
Even governors that build world-class hospital.
They won't get there. Now, reactions. Dr. Iso says this is the future we look into. Imagine when provision like this is made by NGOs. Hospital bills won't be cumbersome anymore for an average citizen, thus alleviating plights. This is humane. Making the world a better place starts from a unit level. I hope Enugu's government emulates. Sadiq says the hospital senior officers, officials, along with government representatives, may divert this equipment, guaranteeing that only a small portion is left for the hospital's use. Still, this class of 89 is quite well off. I mean, talk about the distrust. Theophilus Lawrence says that's a great achievement, commendable. And Papando Havutu says this is how it should be. Do not give them money. Equip the school yourself. By the way, I love his name, Papando Havutu. Sounds like all those epic names you hear in those epic movies. Have you watched? Is it Mr. Bean or what's it? I've forgotten that name. Guara. Yeah, the South African. That's
something Bones. Mr. Bones.
Mr. Bones. Yeah. Said Papando Avuto.
All right, I think that's a good move actually. Somebody said don't give them money, give them the equipment. But then there should be a committee that should follow up. Let me tell people, and I hope they know, there are times that equipment are locked up and they will not use it. In this particular state, there's an institution not far from us there, that there are some interventions from all these ITF, ETF, and what's this other one now? TED Fund. Some of those interventions with very, very expensive machineries, and they locked it up. Until another management took over, and then they opened the warehouse to say, so we have some of these things. People can be wicked that in as much they won't benefit from a particular donation, they rather lock it up and be giving people who are supposed to benefit what do you call a referral letters to go and do that same test. Outside. Nigerians who are interesting people. So there should be a committee that should see to it. Don't just donate to anybody that is donating. Donation is fine. It's something I love to do. My mama matter to my community. God helping us as well. But then make sure they use it and let nobody still collect money or some excess money to say, oh, these things, we are the one providing it. And that same thing has been donated free of charge. There are human issues in some of our issues. It's not that there is government, but when the system is right, it will, expose people that are trying to exploit the situation. We should be responsible. A donation that runs into
that's $1 million.
All right. I think big shout out to those people and others should do as well. instead of just, spending money on vanities.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. If you would do your part, I would do my part. The world would be a better place. Thank you so much, Femi, for coming on board. And to you, our esteemed viewers, for coming on board. Have for yourself a good and productive day. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei.
And before you start, sorry, talking about donation, at this point, let me donate this one to you. At this point, this is mine. This is on camera, and I have just done a donation. This is the part where you clap. Let's go.
Backroom boys, let's go. By the way, Pakwando Avuto. Bye.